you all for this first event of the year for us at Opera School. I'm Sandra Horst, I'm head of opera here, and it is very exciting for us to be showcasing some of our students today and having the opportunity to work with a well-known and well-loved friend of ours who is making waves all over the globe. So this is going to be very exciting. I would like to begin by reading the land acknowledgement and acknowledging this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. This is the 18th annual Riki Turofsky Masterclass in Voice. Yay, and even through COVID, we managed to keep going and have classes via Zoom and a hybrid delivery. So it's really exciting, and we're really happy to be back, and we're really grateful to Riki for her continued investment in young singers and providing opportunities like this one to enhance their training, the exceptional training that they already receive here. So we are extremely grateful to Riki in her continuing support of this masterclass series. She has sent a message. She's not able to be here with us today. And Peter, I think if you could play that now, that would be great.
Good morning. I'm sorry that I can't be with you today. You know, I've been sponsoring these master classes in voice for almost 20 years because I believe that it's crucial for young artists to get an opportunity to work with experts in their field. Today, Jordan Souza, a brilliant young conductor who in fact is conducting the Canadian Opera Company's La Boheme this fall, will be the master. I hope you'll enjoy the class.
Riki said it for me. Brilliant young conductor. Jordan Souza is no stranger to the scene here in Toronto, having worked a lot with Tapestry Opera in the past and at the Canadian Opera Company, and I personally am thrilled that he's back doing La Boheme, which will open, I was going to get the date, but I forget, October something. Very shortly, in about 2 weeks we're opening, so it's a fabulous cast, fabulous show, and I'm so grateful that he is giving up his time here to work with the students, and you can read his most impressive bio on the back of the program. But really, we're really proud of you, Jordan, and we're so glad that you're here today. Thank you. And do you want to say a few words before we get started?
Sure.
Oh, if not, we'll just get rolling.
Good morning, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. And Sandra will tell you it's the truth. When she first wrote me and said, would you come and do a master class at U of T? I said, as long as you don't call it a master class, I'll come. Because I think, you know, I thought, what would I be able to offer as, you know, we're basically colleagues. And, you know, the relationship between a conductor and a singer is always a bit mysterious. And then you add the orchestra. And how does a singer influence or inspire an orchestra to change their sounds? An orchestra can find unlimited colors. They just need to be inspired. It's like even in great orchestras, their special sounds is, you need to find the key to be able to unlock that sound. And a lot of that's one of the reasons I love opera, is with the text and with the singers, with the collaboration we get to have. So I think of today in a way as, if we met in a professional circumstance and we were starting a new production of one of these pieces, this is our first time through it. So I'm looking forward to hearing you all, and let's get started.
Hello, my name is is Chan, and today Spencer and I will be performing Wie du warst from Der Rosenkavalier by Strauss.
Great job. You know, I always, the admiration, especially when it comes to composers like Richard Strauss, to learn this music, exceptionally difficult. To memorize this music, almost impossible. And then to be able to then be ready for the first step, really, which is, how do you bring it off the page? Because it's so that, you know, the meter keeps changing. In the second, it's in 3, the next measure's in 4, then it goes back into 3. It's so, and how do you make everything sound like it's your idea? That's always the goal. It's like you take the music, you chew it up, you digest it so that it just exudes from your pores, yeah? You're doing really well. I thought there's so many nice things also with the text. Let's start once more from the beginning. What's the atmosphere you look for from the orchestra before you start singing?
For this piece specifically,
Yeah.
what I would look for?
Yeah, like what do you think before you sing Wie du warst when you're starting? Other than here comes my middle voice and I gotta first thing, and it's like the beginning of the opera too. It's unbelievable to believe this opera begins this way and then maintains its brilliance for 4 hours. What is it? What's going through your head when you start?
I mean, the opening that Spencer played is just so light, and it's like this magical kind of lightness, but and once I start singing, there's all this depth to what has just happened, what's going to happen, there's so much more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that anticipatory breath from the orchestra that brings you into this.
Yeah.
It like slowly brings you into this really, really velvety.
I like it, yeah. It's there's the feeling of afterglow for those, especially we know the kind of plot at the beginning. And then there's this bird call. He kind of brings us back to all of these little.
Yeah.
We're gonna start again. Breathe that in. That's not real music. That's just what's.
Yeah.
Wie du warst. Strauss writes one adjective at the beginning of the score. I'd forgotten, I just saw it there. Do you know what he writes for your first line using wie du warst? He writes something in brackets.
Oh, I don't remember.
Schwärmerisch, which in German is like effusive, enthusiastic. And what does he write? Wie du warst. It's not easy. How do you be enthusiastic? It's already in there before. Wie du warst. Wie du bist. Yeah, let's start once more. The subito piano, you're absolutely right, you did beautifully. That can you play the two measures before the piano? Just let's hear the harmony. What happens there?
So we have.
What's that? Instead of thinking piano, quiet, think più dolce.
Okay.
It's sweeter, it's more. Nobody could know it. Yeah? Start once more with the beginning. Wie du warst. You started very beautifully with the first V, and then it sounds like one word. Wie du warst. Wie du warst. Enjoy that. Hofmannsthal. The other advantage with Rosenkavalier, like with Mozart and Da Ponte, that the text is of equal value to the music. It's unbelievable that a composer sat down, not with just an empty page, but just the text, and the imagination went wild. We have to kind of recreate that imagination. Beginning once more. Good. Why does he write that? It's funny. He writes he tapers it away. Yeah, because the word at the end, and you keep the energy to the end, but finish the word in the character you sing. Keiner, das and keiner. The stress is on keiner, yeah? Das weiß niemand,
Here's just the measure before.
Imagine every breath you take is it can be an information to the orchestra. And it's a hard place to start, but it's okay.
No.
Better start in the hard spots. I heard that story, Leopold Simoneau, there's a great Canadian tenor, fantastic Mozartian tenor. And they used to say, how does he sing? You hear him sing these arias, like Il mio tesoro, that's what they feel. How does he, somebody told me, I don't know if it's true, that when he used to practice, he used to sometimes run around the house a few times, get it completely out of breath, he would practice his coloratura in the worst conditions, so that when it's going well, you'll be okay. Imagine every breath you take shows the orchestra again, even little shades of different color. That's fine. That's breathe to sing and then start the colors. The colors in it, breathe in the service of something, yeah?
Okay.
Same spot, one measure before. Strauss's favorite words was schwung. You know schwung? In Italian, they'll say con slancio. It needs to have that it's, you know, it's not do, Engel, nein, selig bin ich. The arrival is selig, and even then it goes to bin ich. Yeah? So this, imagine, so it comes in on the second beat of the measure. But if you feel it in kind of a bit too, Engel, nein, it emphasizes the expression that it's syncopated. Feel like it's Engel, not angel, no. Selig bin ich, yeah? We go just before that, just pick up something before that. The way that Engel is, it's not something you sit. Engel, nein, selig bin ich. Feel that in two from selig, it's one. Selig bin ich, dass ich der Einzige bin. Sing a real triplet. You do Einzige bin, Einzige bin. Start early, it's more beautiful. Same spot. It's almost difficult sometimes to say the text, but once you get it, it has to be with Strauss, with Puccini, speech rhythm. You said it perfectly. Yeah? Selig bin. Can you just say the text was from selig bin ich? Yeah?
Selig bin ich.
Yeah, but selig.
Selig bin ich.
Yeah.
Dass ich der Einzige bin.
Dass ich der Einzige bin.
Dass
That
ich
I am
der
the only one. Yeah, I'm so blessed that I'm the only one that knows your love, even though you're married to somebody else who's out of the house. Yeah? We forget that part of it. Yeah? Selig bin ich, dass ich der Einzige bin, der weiß, wie du. You have time at wie du bist. Yeah? Give a little bit of time on the verb. Oh, it's like a tenuto. Wie du bist. Yeah? Good, same spot. Now, why do we take time? So it's like if a conductor ever offers you some time, first of all, take it and run. And then make it worth it. Weiß wie du bist. Weiß wie du bist. Yeah? At the end, very nice. Selig bin ich, dass ich der Einzige bin. You know, those the harmony under this Einzige bin, it's hard to find the notes. You're doing pretty well. It is a do that. Dass ich der Einzige bin. And then it resolves normally. You got to use those. Einzige bin. Tenuto on each of those, yeah? Good, once more. Selig bin ich. Oh no, better. Engel and Engel. You do Engel. You do the Engel at the last second. Good. Engel. Nein, Engel. Yes! The C is too high. The Einzige. Yeah. It's easy to sing it until this guy screws it up and plays that chord, right? What was he thinking? The Einzige. Very directly Selig. You know what Selig is to feel like? Selig, I'm free. With Octavian has a superpower. He can change the atmosphere like that. It's two phrases you could never imagine are beside each other, feel so logical. That's it. That's why everybody falls in love with him. The other one who can do that is Cherubino. Cherubino and Octavian are like, two sides of the same. Yeah? From Selig bin ich to the It's better to breathe before der Reih. It's better to breathe before der. Der Einzige bin, der weiß wie du bist. sometimes it's good to do some tasteless portamenti when you're practicing and stuff, so you know what it feels like to really connect something, and you can take it away after. You can do different things. It's always something that's different for singers than for conductors when we go around, right? I'm coming and everybody's expecting, waiting up for me to give they're ready for somebody to say, okay, we're going in this direction, put your stamp on it. A singer has to be flexible. You have to say, you don't know, maybe somebody likes, has this, and the best singers are working. You see how adaptable they can be, and how they also know where their center is. This is my comfort zone. This is where I do my best, but, I take this, I take a little bit of that, yeah? Good. Where are we? Selig. 2 and 1. You're like, okay, let me reset. Now I sing again. But there's this music happening. That's it. It's you. If you feel that, the breath will spin faster after. Because you're doing you're singing long notes. But underneath those long notes is always something moving, yeah? Play this, wie du bist jetzt mit dem Weiß, wie du. Now you listen. Again, two, it's all syncopation. Two, yeah, very nice, very nice. And what's just before that? Let's go from keine Ant es. You do beautifully the chest voice. Can you try another color and see if this could be the most intimate moment of the aria? Okay. Because you said the text already, and it was animated the first time. Keep the piano. What's the secret? Yes, then it starts. I feel it. And then what happens in that interlude for you? What changes? Like, what's the,
I think a little bit of overthinking starts to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just reveling in the lust of it all, and then all of a sudden, I think that's the boyishness kind of comes in.
Yeah, I like that, and that means it has to go towards conversation. Rosencavalier is a piece that lives in the realm of a conversation piece. People just talking and singing. Yeah, in Italian tenor, there are lots of moments here. And there's, was heißt das du? Was tut ich? It needs to be after that really parlato. Yeah? Let's do it. Keiner antes. 3. Good. Could be more secretive. When we sing, we breathe. When you speak, was heißt das du? Was tut ich? You have to have this. But can you speak the text from was heißt das du?
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich.
Nein. Was heißt das du? Was du und ich. The was. You know, in German, you do it nicely when you sing, when you speak, a short vowel. Was. It's not was. When you sing, you do was. Was is like, I used to be in opera school here, I remember in the old days. So, was has to be short, yeah? Was heißt das du? Speaking still.
Okay. Was heißt das du?
Was? You have to really be looking. Was heißt das du? Like, what does that mean? You and me. Does it make any sense? No. It's just words, empty words. Or is it? You need to have that feeling, yeah? Once again. Was heißt das du?
Was heißt das du?
You sound very serious in German. Was heißt das du? Du und ich.
Was heißt das du?
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich.
Nein, was du und ich. Was?
Was?
Du und ich. Ja, again, was heißt das du?
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich? Hat denn das einen Sinn?
Hat denn das einen
Hat
Sinn?
denn das einen Sinn?
Ja, hat denn das einen Sinn?
Hat denn das einen Sinn?
And now you have exactly the rhythm you wrote. Hat denn das einen Sinn? Go on.
Das sind Worte, bloße Worte.
Das sind Worte, bloße Worte, dismissive. Das sind Worte.
Bloße Worte.
What's next? Nicht?
Nicht?
Yeah, see, that's it. Nicht? What's nicht in English? What would you say in English instead of nicht? What would we say today?
No? Huh?
Yeah? Right? Right? Nicht? It's just sound like they're not nicht. Aber then, nicht? Aber then, no, yeah, good. Sing from just play one measure before. Yeah. Yeah, but right out of the picture.
Was heißt das du?
Was heißt das? Like dies Bild, this is like, was heißt? Was heißt? Was heißt? Was heißt? Yeah? Go ahead, man.
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich? Hat denn das einen Sinn? Das sind Worte, bloße Worte. Nicht du sagst.
Good, careful, the C sharp is too low. Yeah, so the chord. That's this. Then no. Yeah. Do once more from this is really good. Yeah, what did it feel different to you?
It feels, more conversational.
Yeah, that's the goal. Conversation. Good. Just before, same spot.
Was heißt das du?
Yeah, it was better. Do once more. Was heißt das du? You have to imagine, now think less about the singing. Even if some strange sound comes out of you, it's okay. We're always going to talk about it. Yeah, it's not like they're broadcasting this on that. But the important thing is just think, was heißt das du? Was heißt das du? Have the thoughts. Imagine you are spontaneously saying these words. You say them so well that you can forget it all, yeah? Go.
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich? Hat denn das einen Sinn? Das sind Worte, bloße Worte. Nicht.
Now better than nicht. How can you say sing nicht once?
Nicht.
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 Nicht. That's to have that, and the short vowel helps. Nicht.
Nicht.
Nicht. Yeah. Nicht. Nicht. What a beautiful language, yeah? What a beautiful language. But just before that, das sind Worte. Und das sind
Worte, bloße
No, let's go.
Worte.
Take a breath. One. Das sind Worte. Ready? One. Go.
Das sind Worte, bloße Worte. Nicht. Du sagst. Es ist etwas in ihnen, ein
Good.
Schweben.
Very good. And this is where it gets hard. It's like it's already been hard, and you're ready to like settle in and sing something that's like, oh gosh, why don't I change the meter every measure? Okay, can we do the text thing again? That works. Let's go. What's the text where we just did? Abadenno. From Abadenno. Start from there.
Aber dennoch, es ist.
But what is Abadenno? What's the subtext of Abadenno?
Aber dennoch, like, what am I saying before?
Das sind Worte, bloße Worte,
But
nicht?
it's like, it's the questioning, it's like the,
Yeah, be more specific.
but it's like going to explain why, so like, but in
You need to put it into, I think it's up, I do the same thing. I learned it from working with singers. When I give an upbeat, I ask myself the same questions. Abadenno. Oh, wait a second. That's what it is. It's,
Yeah, but
wait
wait.
a second. There's a Abadenno. Es ist etwas in ihnen. What's the ihnen? What does ihnen mean?
in Ihnen is like between that, like, aber
Means them. And in this case, it's the Worte. Das sind Worte, bloße Worte, nicht? Abadenno. But then, wait a second. Es gibt etwas in ihnen. There's something in
it.
these words. There's
It's
something
something
about
in
words. Yeah?
And then
Do it again.
yeah,
Now
this-
from the, with the text from Abadenno.
We're at time, I think.
Is it time?
Yeah.
Is it almost time or is it time? Exactly, 2 minutes. Sorry, 2 minutes. Abadenno.
Here's the downbeat and
aber dennoch, es ist etwas in Ihnen,
Schwinde.
ein Schweben, ein Sehnen und Brennen, ein Schwachen und Brennen, ist
Great.
meine
You do the shift really well. You're perfectly in time. And he doesn't give enough time to even breathe. And he did it on purpose because Octavian just changes like that. It has to be here intimate. Jetzt meine Hand zu deiner Hand kommt. Glory from VX. Where are you? 3, 4. Good. I don't feel. Jetzt meine Hand. Jetzt. Enjoy the whole word. 2 and.
Jetzt meine Hand zu deiner Hand kommt, dass du dir wollen, dass ich schon glaube, das will ich, das willst du nicht, aber dass ich verliert im Tod.
Now this is transformation. This is Richard Strauss. Conversation again.
Aber wenn wir dann hören und sehen vergeht, wo ist dann dein Boot?
Play the right part again. F7. Ooh, not that deep. Fantastic. Good job. Great job. Thank you. Good job. Good attitude. Good attitude.
Today, my name is Jordana Goddard, and today Christine and I will be performing Achig from Mozart's Die Zauberflöte.
Ach, ich fühl's, als es ewig hin, mein lieber Glück.
little shaky, but yeah, overall, like yeah, it was okay.
I've never once come off stage and thought, that was great. My Magic was probably the title I've conducted the most. I've done 56 performances of Magic Flute. And I remember when I finished the 49th, I came out like, that wasn't bad. The first time, it wasn't bad. It was still some hope. You did a great job. And you know, it's a tricky aria. It's one of those, you know, I'm about to jump off a bridge arias, many of them in the opera repertoire. And it's tricky vocally, and you handle a lot of it so well, that sometimes we forget, we have to find like what's behind that. Yeah, I had the feeling that you sang it all very well, but in one character. And maybe we could look a bit through some of the clues in the score and see like what is I'll give you a small example. Can you go to where's the last page? You know when you sing now how should that end? That should end the first time it does? Okay, that's already something. That's got to be your idea. The second time it does this, even better, listen.
Yeah.
And it does this.
Yeah.
So there's so much, even as you sing the line, the orchestra informs it with the harmony and things like that. And we should find some of those. Another little one is, can you show the beginning, please? You know, after you finish this, careful the word der Liebe Glück. You sing mein Liebe Glück. Der is like the, you know, Harry Mozart alternate text. Der Liebe. What's going to happen next? And now it's something. This it's so different than if it was. The hour of bliss.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't have any idea of German should hear the way you say Wonne Stunde and think, oh, yeah, something's missing, man. Something's going on with this. Yeah, good. So let's start from the beginning.
Ich fühl's, als
Fantastic. So you know, Mozart makes it a bit tricky. Es ist verschwunden. If you follow the clip, but it's actually es ist verschwunden. It's gone forever. Yeah, it's good. I like the ach at the beginning. You have to imagine an aria that starts with the word ach, ich fühl's. It feels too much ach, ich fühl's.
Yeah.
Es ist ach, ich fühl's. Es ist verschwunden. New. You know, Mozart used to, even with himself, struggle where he was going to put bar lines. You know, the other thing in, what key is it in? In E flat major. That starts on the middle of the measure. He writes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And actually, originally he had it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is another one. So it starts on the beat doesn't mean that's the stress of the phrase. Middle of the measure. You always have time to make, you know? You just don't worry about what do you want to say with. What does that gesture mean, you know? Yeah? Good, from the beginning, once more. Breathe in the Yeah? Go.
Ich fühl's, als es verschwunden, ewig in der Liebe Glück.
Very good. What's the last two words you said? Der was?
Liebe Glück.
Der Liebe Glück. The happiness of love.
Yeah.
It's gone forever. Mourn it, yeah?
Yeah.
Der Liebe Glück. It's not easy to say.
Yeah.
Ewig in der And the second one happened by itself. Yeah, very good, good. Do once more. Give me a different ah now.
Okay.
You found yours, and now you're kind of you're offering me the same one. Show a new one. Try something different. Go ahead. Good. Now imagine he didn't write an eighth with the rest, though. He didn't write ah. You wrote ah.
Okay.
You're right. The quarter has to contain the vowel and the.
Yeah.
Good. Good. You start the word expressively. I'm going to start picking at the ah. Sorry.
Yeah.
You started ah, and then it dies.
Yeah.
Make some strange noise. Let's see.
Okay.
Maybe somebody told you to sing in tempo. I don't just sing. Right from here. That's There's more. Yeah. Now you better start somewhere. What's the phrase for it? Okay, what's that? He doesn't write sol fa, he writes it as a grace tone.
Yeah.
Sol fa, it's a little sigh at the end. Use it. Avish. Something absolutely new, yeah? Listen to this. And the arrival comes back in. Go there.
Yeah. Okay.
Meinem Herzen right there. Good, it's not zurück, it's zurück. It's a short vowel. Even if it's long, it's a short vowel. Yeah?
Yeah.
Meinem Herzen, once more. If I'm with an orchestra, I'm giving you a hair a second longer to breathe, because I also want you to think. There's a thought that happens. Do that worry about it. We do two gestures, and what's one long one?
Yeah.
Right from Yeah, so the first one is Z. Now look how it resolves. Minor.
Yeah.
So now listen to this one. D.
Yeah.
You sing it like it's D. It shifts right away. Yeah. Good. And si do re mi fa sol la si si. Si do re mi fa sol la. tamino, yeah?
Yeah.
Si tamino.
Yeah.
Tamino. Just even say the T's. Yeah?
Yeah.
Si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Something else. Good. I'm going to just say, I love that color you find there. It's very nice. So vulnerable. Very nice. Do everything there. Fix to nicht. Great. Listen to this one, yeah? You're doing like a daily, but it's kind of harmless. And then he repeats. And then you start from nothing. So, give me enough time to breathe there as well. Yeah, I'm good. Fühlst du nicht? Yeah. Look at the atmosphere. Stars. Good. Do you want to hold that B flat a little longer? What do you think? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Good, do it.
Okay.
Especially when there's no conductor bothering you to get off of it. You just have to show, the challenge is, it's not hard to accompany. For people who accompany opera, you hear in the breath when something's going to move and when something needs to take time, right? If you tell a story with that phrase, anybody would be glad to go with you, yeah?
Okay.
Very good. Do just from there.
Sorry.
No, just some, not too mean. Do from there. Virtu. Just catch it at Ru, A flat major.
Okay.
And
Oh,
wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one here, right? Where's the other one we were on? Fühlst du nicht, liebe Seelen? You're in the right spot. Beautiful, you handle that high thing so wonderfully. You know, after this, if you did it super dry. The last chord the orchestra plays is very actually. It's not hard to accompany there, yeah?
Okay.
Very nice. Especially very clear in the way you lead the phrase. That's good. Is it mean to start right there? Good. Let's start right there. Now go to the middle. Good. You know, beautiful job. This last bit. So first, to get to the E flat, should be a bit more. So be more of a gesture. Yeah, I want even within a cadenza, you can tell a whole story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right from that last Im Tod. Yeah, I finished this. You stay there, because there's whole music at the end.
Yeah.
What an unbelievable, yeah, great job. Lots of really beautiful things. It's not an easy art to sing, it's not an easy role to sing, and you do a very beautiful job. Good job. Great, yeah. No problem. Hi, how are you?
Very good. And yourself?
Good, thank you.
Hello, my name is James Cole Stevenson, and today Christine and I will be performing Bella Siccome un Angelo from Donizetti's Don Pasquale.
Bella siccome un angelo in terra pellegrino, fresca siccome il giglio che s'apre sul mattino, occhio che parla e ride, sguardo che confide. Chioma che vince il melano, sorriso incantator, sorriso incantator. Alma innocente ingenua, che sempre desmandora, modestia impareggiabile, bontà che innamora, ai miseri pietosa, gentil, dolce, amorosa. Il cielo ha fatta nascere per far beato un cor, per far beato un cor. Il cielo ha fatta nascere per far beato un cor, per far beato un cor. Il cielo ha fatta nascere per far beato.
Great job. Great job. How did you feel?
Not the best.
Yeah? And how long have you been singing the aria?
3 years now.
Great. What do you enjoy singing about it?
Honestly, the character is just really fun.
Yes, I like that. And what don't you like about singing this aria?
That I've been doing it for too long.
So that's a good question. How do you keep something fresh? Because that's the thing. The truth is, I had when I was assisting much earlier in my career, I remember somebody came to me in a production of Zauberflute and said, he was singing Monostatos. He said, you know, I bought my house from Monostatos. I didn't get it then. I didn't really, yeah, he sung the role 300, 400 times. We literally, yeah, we have Mozart, Puccini, these guys to thank for the living we have. So what do you do to try and keep it fresh?
I mean, just try and embody the character and not let my own feelings get in the way of.
Yeah, or channel
Maladjustment,
them sometime into getting in there. Because this, one of the challenges with this aria is that not only we all know it, but that it's a beautiful melody. The same thing comes back the second time. And by the middle of it, it just becomes, we're enjoying some beautiful singing. We forget what you said is absolutely right. The most important thing is the character behind it. From the beginning, bella siccome un angelo in terra pellegrino. Do you know what he writes at the beginning? What does Donizetti give you as the one marking?
Con entusiasmo.
Hey, good. You looked at it right before you came. Like, I cast the last one, what they said. Exactly. So how do you show that at the beginning? Because what does the orchestra give you? In this music, not so much. But you can do so much with cha-cha-cha. But in orchestra, again, you need to unlock that. You want them, when they're playing, not to play cha-cha-cha. They want to play, I'm listening. And then you don't sing the character of that music. Bella siccome un angelo. Yeah, we do this part from the beginning.
Bella siccome un angelo.
Good. So you do the accents on the beginning of Angelo. How many accents does he write on Angelo?
None.
No, absolutely right. It's all three.
Oh, right.
Bella siccome un angelo. Sometimes we don't understand why is it there, but the answer isn't to ignore the marking. It's to find a way, okay, what does that mean? To give it intention. There's three accents, you have to do that. And they come more than once with different texts. Sometimes it can be a tenuto, un angelo. But there's definitely an impulse, an energy in each of those, yeah? Do once more. Yep. I still feel at the beginning, you breathe, I see the character in your face, and then you breathe and then it sounds like Winterreise. It has to come out, bella siccome un angelo. Yeah. You're trying to sell something, right, in a way. Yeah. You want to embody that once more.
Bella siccome un angelo.
Good, I still hear one accent. He wrote three accents. Angelo. I'm just noticing in La Bohème, he writes all the time the accents on the wrong syllable. It's not an accent on the wrong syllable, it's an intensifier of the emotion. You gotta use them for something, yeah? Good, this bella with two L's. Bella siccome, and the two Ks. It'll keep us in this quasi-parlato, or maybe this is sung, but the text leads. It's not sound and the words. It's the words taking the text, yeah? Yeah. Again.
Bella siccome un angelo in terra pellegrino.
New.
Fresca
Good.
siccome
Very nice. Good. And now Gino has the accents, but it's something different. Yeah, un angelo, an angel is one, and then speaking of a lily, you have to have a different thing. Good. When you start the same phrase, because it starts the same as the first phrase, you already have to give it due intention. That's where bella siccome un angelo in terra accent, terra pellegrino. New. Fresca, fresh, fresca siccome Giglio, che s'apre sul mattino. If you can avoid breathing there, it's better, you know? Good. Once more, I know. It's okay. And
Bella siccome.
let's look at it. It's very serious. Bella, she's Bella, you will take her. Bella. Like Monterone came to, yeah? Again. And fresh.
Bella siccome un angelo in terra pellegrino.
New.
Fresca siccome Giglio che sale sul mattino.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey, fantastic. That's exactly the idea, is that every breath is the new intention. And it doesn't give you much time. You're singing the whole time and then, occhio. It's too late if you don't. Occhio. You see the occhio, yeah? Occhio. And then you have to make sure. Chi parla in ride. Whatever the text is after is guardo. Concuide. What does he write over that measure? Sguardo che incorro concuide.
Dolce.
What does he write over that measure in the piano score? I never conducted this piece, but I just looked. I thought it said, accelerando or stringendo or something. Crescendo e accelerando,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and that's where you slow down.
And then the dolce
And it's not a bad, we all have that instinct sometimes. Yeah, maybe try to trust the composer first and see if we can make a reason for it, yeah? So we have this feeling at the end, it makes the more dramatic if you don't prepare it by slowing down, yeah? Good. Do from, what's after fresco? Yes. Occhio che parla. Accent on parla. Occhio che parla e ride. Oh, what a wonderful text, yeah? Go ahead.
Occhio che parla e ride.
Good. Go one more time into that storytelling. Remember what you told me how you keep it fresh? Go into the character. You're still taking the breath. Oh, and then you start to make the emotion. Occhio. You show the orchestra in the upbeat, how you want it, yeah? You could, I promise you, I've stood there, been in awe that 100 people, without a singer speaking one word to them, can transform the sound of it. If you know that's what you have to go out there and do. You don't just try not to offend an orchestra. That's not what they want. Everything worked. It's better sometimes the first time it doesn't work. Then we're all, how do we tune up to each other? You have to give them a character. Occhio. Good. How many K's in occhio? Yeah.
Occhio che parla e ride, sguardo che concorride. Chioma che vince levano.
Good. There's two dots, right? Levano. Staccato, staccato. Accent. Che levano. Without any double sneaking in. Levano. Levano. Just feed the text. Feed the text, yeah? Right after the fermata. Chioma. Again, not chioma. 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 It's not chioma, yeah? Chioma. So you have to caress the text there, yeah? Right from chioma.
Chioma che vince levano.
Good, staccato. Levano.
Levano.
Staccato, staccato. Accent. Pam, pam, pam. Sorriso. Why does he put those there? Then you come back to sorriso incantator. The enchantment that you want to find at the end is stronger if you give a new energy before. Yeah? Good. Don't pour chocolate sauce over everything. Yeah? We want like a little bit of chili in there. Do right from once more, wherever it was. Yeah? Occhio, occhio. Chioma. Chioma is better.
Occhio or chioma?
Chioma.
Occhio.
Chioma. Do chioma.
Chioma.
Again, what information did you give the orchestra? You kind of snuck in.
I was about to cough.
Yeah, then take your time. It's okay.
Chioma che vince levano, sorriso incantator, sorriso incantator.
What does sorriso incantator mean?
Enchanting smile.
Yeah, when you say it in English, it says enchanting smile. Sorriso incantator. That's too martial. Sorriso incantator. The ends you have in Italian are so beautiful. Sorriso incantator. Yeah, sorriso incantator. You say it twice, yeah? Chioma, last time. That breath, I'm sure the teacher would like it because it was but the orchestra doesn't. Chioma, to see it in your eyes, it has to come out of you, yeah? Let me lead you once. Chioma, ready?
Chioma che vince levano, sorriso incantator, sorriso incantator.
Great. Now tell me, how do you want to start the second strophe? Now the whole music comes back again. As beautiful as everybody's heard. What's different? What's in your imagination to start the second strophe?
I mean, I see Don Pasquale sort of just annoying Dr. Malatesta, so it's trying to sell as much as he can.
What's the first text you say?
Alma incenta ingenua.
Say that once more.
Alma innocente ingenua.
How many ends? Innocente.
Two.
Alma innocente ingenua. Oh, what a beautiful language. Say it again. Alma.
Alma innocente.
How many ends? Actually, there's three, but two beside each other.
Alma innocente.
Alma innocente.
Alma innocente ingenua.
Yeah, innocente, ingenua. Those are two different things, not innocente, ingenua. Alma innocente, ingenua. It's ingenua, isn't it? Alma innocente, ingenua. Yeah? Alma. So if you sing innocent soul, the first one you start, bella siccome un angelo. Alma innocente. If I was conducting a production with you, I would suggest now, let's try that. This is super dolce at the beginning of the second part. You come right from and he still has the accent, so it'll mean something different this time. Good. Something shortly before, like 2 measures of them. Very good. You make a beautiful piano. I really love it. For the orchestra, though, that was the following. The singer has to always be in the front. There's something feeding. Yeah, I know you're about to cough. It's okay. Sometime you're going to be on stage about to cough and you're going to figure it out. Here we go. Sorry, to write it alma. Alma innocente. Get to the end early. Yeah. You're doubling the wrong end. Again?
Alma innocente ingenua, che sempre desmaniora, modestia impareggiabile, bontà che mi innamora.
Very good. Very nice. You're doing really well. The default position that you fall back to, you sing a really imaginative phrase, and you go back to your autopilot, which is a bit passive, I would say. It's nice, it's very beautiful. But if you want to get, again, I'm always imagining you have an orchestra, 70 people, that you want to not just sit in the pit, ba-cha-cha, ba-cha-cha, ba-cha, which is dangerous, it's tricky, like Bellini. Some people love Bellini. If you're a second violinist, it's hard to love Bellini. You sit in the pit, the entire ba-do-fa-do-la, la-do-fa-do-la, for like 4 hours. It's up to us that we can really, each one, you need to have a specific, and it can change every time. You need to go exactly in that breath. Here I'm charming, here I'm going to tease him, here I want that, and it has to be that specific that we know, they'll come with you. They love it. Yeah? Orchestras are often accused of being some kind of, no, they're waiting to be inspired. Really, from us too. It's hard to stand on the podium. Just to survive a performance sometimes is a miracle. But to actually think beyond survival and say, what are we doing? Like, how would it be different if I wasn't standing here? Yeah? Yeah, and that's the same thing you got to think. It's amazing to imagine you come out and there's like 70 people there. You don't say anything. You get once, twice through it. You can say so much, yeah? Where's just before we stop there? Yeah, modesti. What's just before that? Here. Alma innocente. Do once more. Alma innocente. Alma innocente. Say it. Say once. Alma innocente.
Alma innocente.
Yeah, but do like your best Italian. Alma innocente.
Alma innocente.
How many ends at the beginning? Do it. Show me.
Alma innocente, ingenua.
Yeah, good. It's tricky because when you have to correct something, you go to this editing mode, and then you have to do it, and that's not editing. Alma innocente. Okay, now I got it. Alma innocente ingenua.
Alma innocente, ingenua.
Good. Sing it. It's right there.
Alma
That's the best of it you've got. So when you're not ready, go.
Alma innocente ingenua,
Something new.
che sempre desmaniora, modestia impareggiabile, bontà che mi innamora.
Very nice. Good. The cadenza is tricky, right? And you're handling it really well. Well, why is the cadenza there?
I think that the reason that the cadenza is there is simply because he's...
It's theater, so it's definitely not simple, but keep going.
That phrase there, bontà che vi innamora, is...
Che vi innamora. Two ends.
Yeah, vi innamora.
You got it.
Saying how lovely she is, and it's just emphatic.
Yeah, it's good. I feel still you're describing it. I don't want you to describe, I want you to embody something. You need something that's like bang, action. I write in my score, always. Because, you know, sometimes on Monday you have to do Don Giovanni. Tuesday you do Pénètre Mélisande. Wednesday you rehearse a symphony concert. Thursday you do Agnelli. And you have to come there, and that's the beauty of it. Once you know something and it's part of you, I sometimes put just a single word. It has to be an adjective. It has to be something active, a verb, that just bang, here I am. So what's the cadenza? You know, it has to be something that's you can do anything with the why do you stop time? You have to get a whole orchestra to stop, and not because they wrote a fermata in the score. But you're like, wait a second. now we may go on. Yeah? Let's have that feeling. That's a good answer. Good. Do something before that. What's before that? Modesty, sure. Modesty. Modesty impareggiabile. What's impareggiabile mean?
Incorruptible.
Yeah, impareggiabile. Say it once.
Impareggiabile.
Impareggiabile. Yeah, the M, sing those. The great Italian to you and you listen back to them. Yeah, and it's funny because by modern standards, some diction teacher will tell you, this is all bad taste. Yeah, and then you go to listen to these great Italian singers. If that's bad taste, sign me up. I don't mind. All these crazy shallow vowels, but it's impareggiabile. Is an M. Sing it long. Yeah?
Impareggiabile.
Good. How many G's? You got it. Show me. Say it again.
Impareggiabile.
Impareggiabile. You know when you double, you suspend, and then you impareggiabile. Yeah? Sing from Modesty.
Modesty.
Give me a dramatic breath. Not that, yes? Voice studio breath. No offense to voice studios. Good. That was the 007. I'm secretly, here I am, but maybe nobody will notice. Yeah?
Modestia impareggiabile, bontate vi innamora, ai miseri pietosa, gentil, dolce, amorosa.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. So when we say gentile and dolce and things like that, that's when we have to make sure that there's a new color. Where's gentile and dolce? He said, ai miseri pietosa, gentil, dolce, amorosa. Find a new character. When you sing dolce, it has to be dolce, amorosa. Or it can be the opposite of dolce, but it has to be deliberate, yeah? It sounds like a run-on sentence. Run-on sentences are the death of color in music. You have to always give it something fresh. Every phrase, every breath. Yeah? What's just before that? Ai
miseri pietosa,
gentil,
dolce, amorosa.
Good. Be sure. Good. You're doing great. You have to always show the orchestra clearly. You have to realize they're all stopped. It's the hardest thing for a conductor, for a singer, is to start an orchestra. Once it's rolling, you're really just taking credit for the fact that the musicians are doing it all. But to start something takes some skill, yeah? You have to, I don't think clear breath. Think wonder, whatever it is you want to show. That's what. Yeah, they'll just, nobody's thinking, go with it. They just go, let's go. It's so natural, just where the step falls. Yeah? What's before that? Show me when to stop. Good. Get that rhythm right. Il c'è la fatta nasce. You're doing it. It's too soft around the edges. You right? Il c'è la fatta nasce. Right from there. That was good breath.
Il c'è la fatta nascere per far beato un cor, per far beato un cor. Il c'è la fatta nascere per far beato un cor, per far beato un cor. Il c'è la fatta nascere.
Good, that's one long pickup.
Il c'è la fatta.
It's all one big pickup. That's good. Again, ride the energy that you start to the end of a phrase. Don't taper off the ends of phrases, because then the next one, when you start sweetly, it's already halfway there. Want to be give time before to breathe before per fare beato un cor. Don't rush there, yeah? Per fare beato un cor. It's still ringing. That's all your idea. It's like, what are we going to do next? I got an idea. Yeah? Per far beato un cor. Right there. And one.
Per far beato un cor. Il cielo fatta nascere. Per far beato.
Good. One T in beato. Beato. You know, you do well. Text stresses beato. But
Beato.
actually, it's not just beato, it's beato. From the beginning of the word is special, not just the text stress. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Per far beato. I love that word. My daughter's name is Beatrice. I love that word so much I named my daughter Beato. Beato.
Beato.
Per far beato. What's right before that? Il cielo fatta nascere. Fatta nascere.
Il cielo fatta nascere per far beato. Beato.
Good. We'll probably have to take a breath in a minute. Where do you breathe? Is that the A flat? Is that where you breathe?
Yeah.
Make something of it. Make it seem like everybody's like, wow, Donizetti wrote a breath there? I never noticed. It's so brilliant, yeah? Per far beato. Do the very right. And the orchestra goes back. Yeah, you have to tell a real story of this. I know you're doing great. I never heard somebody sing so quickly after coffee. That was impressive. Here we go, right at the cadenza. Il cielo fatta nascere. One upbeat to nascere.
Il cielo fatta nascere per far beato. Beato, per far beato.
Go on.
Per
How
far
about something new there? Nato. If you do the same thing.
per far beato, beato un cor.
Bravo. It's such a, you know, it was funny in these standards, we kind of all get lulled into thinking it's just the way we always heard it. There's so much potential, especially in these ones. Yeah, from the text, everything out of the text. Great job. Great job. Seven to 10 minutes.
is Alexandra Sorensen, and today Christine and I will be performing Voi che sapete from Le Nozze di Figaro by Mozart.
Great job. Tell me, what's your relationship with this aria? How long have you been singing it?
I've been singing it for about a year, and it's one of those arias where I've sang it so much that some of my old technique is still in it, and I'm just trying to find like ways to get out of that and to make it fresh again.
And what do you do? How do you do that? How do you get make it fresh again? How do you get out of that?
I try to think more about the text.
It's good.
For sure. I'm working on like bringing out the diction and the words
You
more.
do really nicely. There were some really nice ideas, and they came through. That's the first, most important step, to have an idea and to actually be. Because often we have an idea and it never really makes it outside of our head. Even we feel we're doing it, and it doesn't come out. So there's some really nice shades and stuff. What's this aria? What is it? What does it mean? What is it for Cherubino? What is it? What do you try to? You know, when you walk in for an audition or with an orchestra in a production, whatever it is, what do you want to say in those 3 minutes?
I want it to be kind of genuine. I want it, the first verse especially, to be like he's so nervous that he just needs to get out what he needs to say because he's feeling all these new emotions and he doesn't know what to do with them.
That's great.
And then as the aria progresses, I think he gets a little more confident in what he's saying, and he's like presenting this song that he wrote to them, and in the end he's kind of trying to show off a little bit.
Yeah, great. I like that. That's very, and it's in a way, to me it's a difference. Again, it's one of those arias that we've heard, so beautiful, written really well for the voice. For me, I try to think of it when I do that it's a journey of discovery for Cherubino. So I know some people come in and he has the text. I like to imagine, even if he planned something, maybe he wrote a song, whatever it is, that it's spontaneous. He really, just like you said, I love the idea. He's genuine, heartfelt. Like, why does everybody fall in love with Cherubino? Because in a way, the Contessa, they all kind of, it's a bit like Octavia. Yeah, well, what is it about him? There's something about the honesty, and also that he follows this. Oh, and there's that. Oh, and what does it mean? And this, you tell me. It's that kind of an energy with him, yeah? And the challenge is that what it takes to sing it, I need you to move at the speed of thought, and not in the speed, you know what I mean? Sing. Let's start once more. Good. I like the first breath is great. And then you do from the O to the E, it goes that way. And what does an E do to it? Che cosa è amore? Donne, vedete, se io non me lo donne, vedete. Vedete, always give it a pause. Good, once more.
Voi che sapete che cosa è amore, donne vedete, sia nel cor, donne vedete, sia nel cor.
Excellent. You know, you have to finish the words. You sing really nice, colors clear. Always those at the end. Really sing those. Why don't you repeat that text there? You know when you do listen to it. I want you to hear those little comments. Instead of yeah, it's not hectic, but it's excited.
Yes.
Yeah? Donne vedete, the first one.
Donne vedete.
Good. Be careful, you don't do a double, but it sounds like you say vedete. See, it's really a sing through consonants. Yeah? Don't stop. Again.
Donne
Good.
vedete.
You gave me the singing studio, brother. The tenor, hand out exactly the same way. Right there. Good. Do it once more. Instead of you have a tenor. When you breathe, you do that in the body language. Stay open. The cherubino is open.
Yes.
That's how cherubino walks. Yeah, he doesn't close. Again.
Donne vedete, sia nel cor, donne vedete, sia nel cor.
That's good. Vedete.
Vedete.
That's that. You don't vedete. Don't stop the T. Vedete. Vedete. Donne vedete sul nel cor. Check. Donne vedete. We're smart. The first donne. Good. It sounds like one word. Donne vedete. It's like somebody's name. Hey, donne. It's donne vedete. No, donne vedete. Look. Yeah. Again.
Donne vedete, sia nel cor, donne vedete, sia nel cor.
New. What's that first vowel? Quello che io provo. Yeah, it's something really new. You would just play from the last two measures before quello che io provo.
Quello che io provo,
Good. You're doing it after the breath. You're carrying just a run-on sentence. No good. Per me, no, that's Cherubino's energy. Per me può capir non so. Sento un affetto pieno di desiderio. Corai di metto, corai martir. Double M, martir. Same spot? Quello più.
quello che io provo.
Good. Why you make a big accent on Kyo? Quello che io provo. speech. If you sing it, end with energy, yeah? And what's the phrase before that? Quello che io provo. You know when you do provo, it sounds like provo. Quello che io provo, vi ridirò. I'm going to tell you what I've experienced, I'm going to tell you. You tell me if I'm right. That's the energy. Quello che io provo. Should sound like, I can't just do quello che io provi. They could have written it a million other ways, but your idea. Provo. Yeah? Good. Si, la, si, do, re, si. New breath. Remember Zir. Not Desir. Desir. The whole word is baked into that meaning, yeah? Not just the accented syllable. What's just before that? Sento un affetto. You do the double F well, but you don't do the double T. Sento un affetto pien di desir, corai diretto. Sento. The tone, it's often a problem. A common problem. Sento un is fudge. Sento un affetto. You're doing it before the beat. Sento un affetto. Am I wrong? Where is it? Yeah, on the beat. Sento un affetto. Sento un affetto. Something new? Good. Now, magic, right? The aria is already, what a masterpiece. To imagine that he could make a bass line like, I told you I wrote this great song, it sounds like this, you make, yeah, right. Amazing, but how could it get better? Where's the A flat major? When you do now listen to this. Now, of course, dolce is one thing, but what is he saying?
He's saying, I freeze. And
I freeze. And what harmony does he do? We have to realize Mozart sat there and said, "Gelo e poi sento." So he could have written, where is it again? I hate these iPads, man. I cannot read after my hand. He could do something else, right? Instead he does, jeez, I kind of like it that I'm freezing. Not only to the basement, two V's, yeah, early. I want you to make it sound like it's your idea. After this, corai martir, cielo e poi, so feel like, oh, he's freezing, yeah. Just before, corai martir, direct. Good, not take a breath for the whole family, yeah.
Corai martir.
Good, what's hard? Do it with me once, where are we? And play once, corai martir, go ahead. And, corai martir. Corai martir.
Corai martir.
Corai martir. Cielo e poi sento. Again, ever so slightly. Yeah, once more. Cora.
Corai
Good.
martir.
How many R's in ora? Just one.
Corai martir. Cielo e poi sento l'alma vampar.
Good. Can you make it sound like it's on that phrase is on fire? Alma vampar. You know? It's Cherubino, yeah? There's like the theory, you've all heard, there's a conspiracy theory about him, right? That he becomes Don Giovanni, right? That is, he starts as Cherubino, he is eventually Don Giovanni. Do from Gelo e poi sento. Do it again. You're doing like this thing. Cielo. You can't think of cielo. You feel it? You think the thought? You breathe the thought. That's what helps us, yeah? Right. Can I do it once for you? You sing. Good. Can you make anything more parlato? Non so chi tiene, non so cosa. Palpito e tremo, senza sosta. Good. Just before something. Non so chi tiene. Good breath. Very good breath. I stopped feeling good. Do it again. For the sake of science, do it again.
Non so chi tiene.
Good. What's the phrase? Say the text.
Non so chi tiene.
Non so chi tiene, isn't it? C-H apostrophe I-N. Non so chi tiene. Where does the phrase go? Tiene. Non so chi tiene. Non so cos'è. Say it again.
Non so chi tiene.
Chi.
Non so chi tiene.
Good, it's okay, it's normal. You know, we all do that. When you sing, it's right, but if you can't speak the text perfectly, we have to take really that everything. In the theater I used to work, Komische Oper Berlin, there was the one who founded the theater, the guy called Walter Felsenstein. And he had a practice. Anytime he did a production in the theater, the first rehearsal was always a text rehearsal. Only. Nobody sing. They would come to do Marriage of Figaro, and everybody read every single line like they were actors. And then, and this is the best part, then before the dress rehearsal, the last rehearsal before the dress rehearsal was the second text rehearsal. We've now done the whole thing, now we come back to the text. We figured out how this goes. It's all there, yeah? We're from there. We're like, non so chi tiene.
Non so chi tiene. Non so cos'è.
Non so cos'è. Non so cos'è. Not non so cos'è. You do the cos'è right, but non so cos'è. That
Non
energy
so
to be.
cos'è.
Yeah, good. Non so chi tiene. See?
Non so chi tiene.
Good. Once more, can you play the harmony? Just play the orchestra. Listen to the orchestra once. What do you think of that? You're doing it passive. Non so chi tiene. Non so chi tiene. Non so cos'è. Everything for him is desperate. It's urgent. Everything with Cherubino now. I need a solution, yeah? Non so chi tiene.
Non so chi tiene. Non so cos'è.
New.
Sospiro e gemo.
Good. Not sospiro e gemo. Sospiro e gemo. Sospiro e gemo. Say the text.
Sospiro e gemo.
Sospiro e gemo.
Sospiro e gemo.
Yeah, it rolls out. Sospiro e gemo. Keep going.
Sospiro e gemo. Senza voler. Palpito e tremo. Senza saper.
Good. So it's always, what's the first text? Sospiro e gemo senza saper. Palpito e tremo senza. But non trovo pace, notte menima, pur mi piace languir così. That's the shape, yeah? Always think big. That's where we're conducting the event, right? We sit at the desk and I have to think, okay, there's 4 measures to this phrase, but actually it's 4 and 4 is 8. And the big one is 8 and 16. So in those 16 measures, what's the big structure? This is the point of arrival. This, you know what I mean? You have to think the little details and then put it into a big structure. Go ahead. Non so chi tiene. No, yeah, do from the no, sospiro e gemo senza saper. Yeah? 1 and go.
Sospiro e gemo.
Good. No. Sospiro e gemo. No? Sospiro e gemo. Sospiro e gemo. He doesn't start singing. It just flows out of him. Yeah? 1 and sospiro e gemo senza saper.
Palpito e tremo. Senza saper. Non trovo pace, notte menima, pur mi piace languir così. Voi che sapete.
Good. Very nice. Lots of things. That's a feeling, yeah. You give that to an orchestra. You have to realize again, it's not obvious to them. Orchestra musicians, they sit there with just one line. So some guys he doesn't know what they're That means something to that, but then you do.
Sospiro e gemo, palpito e tremo, notte ne piace, notte ne rima,
And then it's not a return. It's not the same. Voi languir calls. He's a new man now. Okay, now I know. At the beginning he's like, okay, you're gonna help me. I know you have the answer, yeah?
sospiro e gemo.
Sospiro e gemo senza valore.
Good, that's it, sapore.
Senza volere, palpito e tremo, senza sapere.
Everything legato, you know what's wrong?
Sospiro e gemo, senza volere,
Palpito e tremo senza sapere. Potrò pace notte, ma pur mi piace languir così.
Yes.
Voi che sapete.
Good. Now, let's talk about your ornaments.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's okay. It's tricky. It's Mozart because like it's hard with perfect music, so then, and it's tricky. Some of them are okay. The other ones, I'm not sure they help. I'm not sure I will. My cherubino, my imagination of cherubino, he would never go do, si, la, sol, fa.
voi che sapete che cosa è l'amore.
He will do something like that. In my imagination, you can have a different idea of cherubino, yeah? Fa, do, si, la, sol, fa, non, si, fa. When you do si, fa, do, fa, te, something like that later. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky, and then we have to realize with Mozart, everybody has their own taste, and everybody thinks they're right. You sit down to go, you can never win with Mozart. You go in and this guy, how could he do so fast? How could it be so? Everybody has a different idea of Mozart. So the best thing I would say, and then when you do a production, come in with ideas. That's fantastic. If I was auditioning with this, I will play it safe. I would put a couple turns. I would do a few things. I wouldn't dress too much. I'll do fewer of them. Yeah, right from the return. Voi che sapete.
Voi che sapete che cosa è amore, donne fedele, siolo nel cor, donne fedele, siolo nel cor, donne fedele, siolo nel cor.
Finish that word, right? You tell as much in the word from the way you just do different core. It means I really mean it, I'm here. You know, there's something, it's funny, when you do almost no ornaments like you did now, which I really love, that heartfelt sincerity that you mentioned at the beginning, it comes through more and more strong. You really feel for this guy. And that's the goal with the cherubino, is that everybody has to be like, yeah, is he crazy? Is he doing some of the things? But man, that charm kind of gets us all in. Really nice, though. You lead nice, you have some good ideas. You keep playing with that. Good job.
Thank you
Good
so
job. How are you?
Very well, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Hello, my name is Lyndon Leder, and today Spencer and I will perform Se all'impero from Mozart's La Clemenza di Tito.
Se all'impero amici
timor. Se all'impero amici dei necessario è un cor severo, necessario è un cor severo. O toglietemi l'impero, o me date un altro cor, altro cor. O me date un altro cor, o me date un altro cor. Se all'impero necessario è un cor severo, o toglietemi l'impero, o me date un altro cor.
Great job. What an aria, eh? He's mad writing this stuff. You handle it very well. My voice moves well. You make a really nice sense of the whole thing. That's good. What would you say is the character you're going for at the very beginning?
I'm aiming to be like stressed and upset, but not necessarily too angry to start.
That's
I
good.
want to build.
Yeah. And stress does the tricky ones, but I know you didn't see him stressed or anything like that. But the idea is at the beginning, you know, it's true that it has all these words, impero, things of empire, and the gestures of yam, bam, ba, da, 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 da. But you know, it's funny, and it's something I like a lot about the way you did it, and I think you have shades of it, and that's something I think we could lean into a bit, which is, how would you describe Tito's journey through the aria? Or what's he wrestling with right now?
He has to sign the death warrant of his best friend,
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to.
Yeah, betrayed in a way, right? There's
Yes.
like betrayal. He's the leader. And what's he gonna do? And you think, Clemente, this is Tito, right? And then they play all this martial music. But the funny thing is, for Mozart, if he wanted it to be that, he would write here. Right in D major, where you would have it. But it's funny. This one he puts it. It's actually funny enough. Which is unusual. You wouldn't think that the two arias you just heard are in the same key. That's a hint. What else? B flat major. Or you better maybe that's the best analogy. B flat major. So that there's this restraint, there's a humility, there's a softness around it too. I would say this sometimes this happens to us in opera, and you have to not sing the character of the orchestra. There's like some swashbuckling music, and then you have to come. Maybe start once more, and I think you're already going there, leaning into the somewhat lyrical side of this. Of course, you're still with the text. Just a short. Listen to the music he gives you. You have to use that. See how this is inner struggle that he has, yeah? Very good. That first note, would you say it's a downbeat or is it leading somewhere?
Leading somewhere.
Yeah, show me that. Again? And then, amici. There's also a little bit of a challenge, right? They come with the o togliete. Amici. I won't be trouble, but I can't kill. That's the trouble. Amici. Same thing. Upbeat. Think like an upbeat to that. Then, what starts this next one? You know the challenge in this aria is so many phrases start on a long note. And we tend, if you stay true to the word, it spins longer, right? Instead of you believe every bit. It's really necessary. Once more, right from Sia Limpero, right from the first one. Good. How many L's? 2. Every consonant is a chance for us to show something more of what he's feeling. Huh? Good. Very good. Hey, I really like that. Necessario. Is it necessario? It stays. Stay true to the text. You know what I mean? It's about the second long note. Necessario. And then starts the long. I like that you're playing it lyrically, severo. That's good. But the problem is the phrase is dying too early. Yeah? Get all the way to severo. Yeah? Necessario. Right there. Good. Once more. It felt like it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Necessario. Very nice. You sing beautifully. Can you make the word severo? It gives you the advantage at the end that it's in real time. Cor severo, severo. Keep true to the whole word. Say it once. The text, necessario.
Necessario e un cor severo.
But the adjective at the end needs a color. You're doing un cor severo. But it could be un cor something else. Un cor severo. See what I mean? It's not cor severo. Cor severo. I need you to always focus the energy of your phrase, yeah? Necessario. Don't say it.
Necessario e un cor severo.
Severo. That's it. Even at the end, un cor severo. Some, element always of a parlato. Cor severo. That energy. Even if you need to take a breath there sometimes, nobody is going to notice if you give it a meaning. You know what I mean? Good. One more time, the first necessario. Necessario.
Necessario e un cor severo.
That's it. Okay. Keep it. Oh, sorry. Just where you stop. 3.
Necessario severo.
Something new. What's new here? Very good. What do you think? Exactly. But forget even the right note, wrong note. What do you think about that long note? He does this. It's crazy. Everything starts with What do we do with that long note? What is it?
Well, I'm giving the gods a choice. So it's got to have authority.
It's a challenge, yeah? But it's a challenge, right? It's an ultimatum almost. If you don't do that, not if you, it doesn't have to be. I'm going to show you. You don't do this, you're going to see, yeah? Just a measure, 2 measures, something like that. Good. Give me the whole word togliete. No, togliete. Togliete. What is togliete? Yeah, to take away. Oh, togliete. Verbs should sound active. Yeah? Again. Saying to you there. What do you hear when you hear that music? Play it once from the forte. Yeah. That's it. sound like to you? You have to describe that music. Like, is it tender? Is it driven? Is it, you know what I mean? What do you hear with that? What is it? What is that?
It almost sounds confused though.
Yeah, but you know, there's just He's the king. You know what I mean? He takes his space. You have to make this seem natural. You're doing those. And they're like, you have to be. This is your thing. This isn't the spot to be lyrical, because what happens next comes something lyrical, right? So you have to always pace out in your mind. Okay, this color goes here, this one goes there, and you come, because it's funny, there's no strict plan. And that's why great composers, what is form? Form is just something that contains energy, that doesn't let energy out. That's what form is. It could be anything, right? But in his way, we have to really try and say, what is the orchestra saying, and how do I make it seem like the only thing they could play? You know what I mean? Good, let's do just from there. Si all'impero. 1, 2, go.
Si all'impero amici dei, necessario è un cor severo, o togliete a me l'impero.
Very good, very good. Now, what's the text here again? Is o togliete, right? That's the challenge we said. O togliete a me l'impero. This music is different. He has resolve. But there's a bit of a threat in there, right? Can you go right from there?
O togliete a me l'impero,
Yes.
o me date un altro cor, o me date un altro cor, o me date un
You have to sing this and not me. This is crazy. He's mad when he's asking you to do. You do a really nice job of it. Good for you. The question is, and I think this is what I'm after with you, is how do we make every phrase have its specific, this is where he is now in his process. You're right, in broad strokes, the way you described him at the beginning, he's confused, he's conflicted, that's all good, but there's stages of that, right? And that's what I want us to try and find. Let's talk about this coloratura. You know where's the here. So when you have a line like that, you're doing really well. You know? So what is this? So really it's yum, yum, you hear it like that too? And so what's this other stuff? It's just a little ornament. Ornament. So the goal is, even if you have to take a bit out of tempo, now can you try when you get to almost extend them a bit long so we really hear there's a line. Fa, do, re, do, re, do, re, do, sol, do, re, do, re, do, re, do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si. Yeah? Can you do from wa, me, fa, re, mi, re, do, re, si, do, re, mi. Yeah? Bravo. I can't imagine it's easy to change these. You're doing really nicely. Especially this, right? Now we hear the line is yana. So the line is Now when you do yum, try and keep it yum. Don't try as much as you can. Feel that line, yeah? Good. Something underneath? It sounds like you do something underneath. a trill. Little bit, show me the two notes of the show where you start the telephone ringing. The and energy till the end, so it's kor, and your backup singers keep going. Yeah, good. This is kind of it's okay. It's gonna come back. Keep going to the middle section. Do the andantino now. What's this middle section? What is this?
I'm taking this more as like at the end of this he has to come to the realization that he has to do it. Most of it has to be like more like brief and like getting to that final conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Or could it be, or try this, that the first section we sang kind of outward, to the gods, to the world, yeah? But this is kind of turns a bit inward. This is his inner, yeah? Try and make that, this is him, what is this all going to mean? What am I going to do, yeah? Take right from there, what's F major? Try the tempo ever so slightly quicker. It sounds like he's singing a song that, he's like walking home singing a nice song. I want it to feel like he's got a This feels more like thoughts that way, yeah? C'est la fede. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. You're singing this? Oh, great. And then it sounds like a That's how you end it. But it does Why does he do that chord? Instead of... You got it. It's the Timor. No, you're not Rota del Timor. Timor. You have to give us the word Timor. I like the tempo. What do you think? Yeah. Do you remember what he wrote as a tempo working? Andantino. That's it. Not andante. Andantino. Slow. Yeah, good. How about go with the text. Non si. Yeah, give a little bit non.
D'una fede non mi curo, che sia frutto del timor, che sia frutto del timor.
Good, bravo. The stuff is good. Now, you have this harmony, listen. Exactly the same move, yeah? Every time you have this chromatic, it means he's trying to wring all the emotion he can. It seems like it's over. New music. Yeah? All from your imagination. Yeah? Direct.
Che sia frutto del timor, d'una fede non mi curo, che sia frutto del timor.
Good. Now, what do you want to say with that end of that cadence? I like it. I like that this is the time he's starting to be, he has resolve. That's very good. What's the journey of that? Because what's the dynamic of the last orchestra chord? Piano. You have to make that seem logical. Right now you're doing del timor. Yeah. Okay. The It's such a beautiful little transition here, yeah? Don't just run through it. Okay. What do you want to do? You show us. Don't even talk about it. Just show us what you're going to do with this cadence. Non mi curo.
Non mi curo che sia frutto
Long notes are not, they're not long notes. They're actually full of little notes. So it never feels like it's going that way. It always is. You're beautiful, you sing really nice, but it has to keep a focus. Yeah, right from the return. Singing something in a concert and singing something in an opera, you know? That we used to, now we just want to hear a beautiful voice, but in the opera we want to see you tell us a story. And we want that story to still guide you right here, right from Otoye. Play the last minute, 2 minutes. Show us what you They have to sound like they're just next door neighbors. Yeah? You're working so. Yeah, what's that? I never forget this, right? You know what I mean? If it's puzzle, you like a sting. We do just before that. Where is the coloratura start? Every phrase 6 times like I've made you to. So it only gets easier. Now remember this phrase. I know it's brutal what he's asking of you. The goal is when you get to the syncopations at the end. Not the big yawn. He stays vibrant through those. Yeah, you mind if you do the coloratura from the middle? At the end, it still sounds like you're doing. It sounds like you do some kind of a B flat in the middle of it. Yeah, it's better. That keeps the energy the whole time. We believe every second. Prestito. Yeah. Stay on the middle of that. Very nice. A lot of that stuff before that. Yeah. Un altro cor. Not dammi un altro cor. Dammi un altro cor. Un altro cor. This heart is not going to accept this. If you're going to make me do this, you better give me another heart. It's a great gesture, yeah? Good. You might take it from Now, when Mozart, like Handel, when he does ya, he wants you to sound, you don't have to do not like Pamina, it's different. Good, just do from there. Take a bit of time here, right? I can feel it. Do it a little bit more. It feels like you're kind of apologizing for taking that. If you're going to do it, really do it. So you do now, after that, they play strong, but that's playing a it's an inner cell, it's an inner victory. It's a it's not a big march, yeah? Think of resolve rather than might, yeah? Good, just do the end of that.
Se all'impero necessario un cor severo
after all the great singing that this is how it ends. You know how it has to end? I know what I've got to do now. That's the feeling's got to be. It's tricky because it's not high, it's not low. How do you show that resolve? Can we just give me those last two phrases? I've got it. That's just yeah. 1, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, that's great. Bravo. Good job. Great.
Thank you, Jordan.
My pleasure.
That concludes the singing portion. We've left a bit of time here for some questions and answers. Because everyone has questions and answers. You've been in Europe for a while, and I know that's a bit of a hot topic for people here, wondering what the scene is like. So thank you to, first of all, to Spencer and Christine for playing. For singing, and thank you to all of you for being here. You're welcome to stay for the Q&A as well. But why don't I just open it up to you, anybody?
Please, go ahead.
In the audience.
Hello.
Hi.
It was great watching your work. Thank you for being here. My question is, aside from, the usual being prepared, being a good colleague, doing all those things, what is it that makes a great singer as a collaborator, working with a conductor or
It's a great question. It's somebody who comes in with ideas, with personality, who has something to say with the music. Everybody thinks, as you prepare, as you study, the more you do it, you start to realize there's no set way, there's no perfect version we're trying to achieve. We're trying to prepare ourselves in such a way that we can be spontaneous in the moment, that we can respond to what the moment requires. You can make a great plan to do with this Donna Anna, this aria, the way she's sick, somebody else shows up. If that's the only way you can do it, you're already dead. So it's this idea of those who come in, because it's difficult. Some people want to be polite, and that's not a bad thing in general. But actually, when you're looking for somebody, like I said, you need somebody who's going to inspire and influence a whole orchestra to say, there's only one way we can play this today. And this is going to be the one. And those types of people, you can see it, you feel it quickly, within a few phrases often of when they sing that. Really, like you're saying, of course preparation is the most important. Intonation, all of these things are, before we even get to the room, it's essential. But then what? That's always in the service of something, and that they come, and it's not with some wacky idea like, oh yeah, you know what I'm going to say. No, it's like everything born out of the score. We could have done these pieces, if it were different series, we would have gone a completely different way. But it's finding yourself in that music And then really taking ownership of it and being able to say, because that's immediately, when we sit out there, you have to realize that the people on an audition panel, let's say, they want you to be great. They want this to go very well when it starts, right? Everybody believes in that. Yeah, maybe this is it, yeah? And it's that feeling, what makes the difference is those few people who come in and right away say, and then all of a sudden my mind starts going one way, oh wow, didn't imagine that for you. Oh, I need to get somebody like this to complement that person. Wow, you start imagining, extrapolating. She has to sing this, we have to do that. But it's hard to know what that is, but it's taking ownership of that. And listen, the nature of what we do, there's a maxim in fighting, in boxing, that triumph only comes through defeat. And it's something true, maybe truer for conductors often than singers, right? You have to be so primed that by the time you're getting to the stage, often, how do you prepare as a conductor? You can only learn from conducting orchestras, which means you're going to start and you're going to suck. And it's just inevitable for a while, and that's okay. You got to take a punch and come back, okay, there's 60 that really worked. What was it in that moment that gave the winds that sound? It's the breath. Okay, maybe if I make sure I look, maybe if I don't disturb the horn player here, and I just keep it that, I'm creating the environment in which you guys can make the music. That's always the goal. So those people who come in there and can just, here I am, radiate every facet, everything coming at you is from the music. Those are the people that often stand out. Same thing when you go and see a great performer in a show. And you think, it's like it was written for them. That's always the goal. Like everything you sing was written for you. You just got to take a suit. If you take a jacket from somebody else, yeah, they got to tighten up the arms a bit, pull it up here a little bit, but it's the same jacket still. But now it fits me. That's the goal.
What would you say is the biggest difference between working in North America and working in Europe? And what advice would you give a singer going to Europe for the first time?
I would say go as soon as you can. I really feel that the education I got, which was great. I went to McGill, and I almost went to U of T. And I was 17 years old. I really just wanted to go to Montreal. That was a big part of it. And my organ teacher, that really. Although I love John Tuttle and the organ faculty here as well. But the difference there is the amount of opportunity is great, which is fantastic. But again, the amount of people singing, like the amount of conductors in Berlin, it would shock you. You go into a cafe, you say, is anybody here a conductor? Like 6 people stand up. The conductor gets sick for Traviata, there's like 8 people waiting to go up. And so there's that. But the best thing for me there was really, I feel like I got my education in a way in the theater. I think there's only one place to learn these things. You can't be, the reason I wanted to leave the things I was doing at that time and really go there and make my way up the opera house is I didn't want to be the person in the room. Same reason I almost didn't do this masterclass. I didn't want to be the person in the room pretending to know everything. It's like, wait a second, and that's the beautiful thing about opera. You get to a production, everybody's coming with different experiences, with different levels. Some's doing a role debut, some have done it 100 times before, some of this, some of that, but here we are together for the first time. This unique mix of ingredients. What can we do together? And you learn all the time from things people do. Little hubs, that's how it goes. My favorite thing to do still, I live in Berlin still, so there's 3 opera houses, there's 7 symphony orchestras, they give 800 million euros to the arts just in one city every year. It's an embarrassment of riches, right? So I love to go and watch rehearsals and see people stand in front of an orchestra. How do they do it? How does a singer, why does the orchestra sound different with that person singing? What is it? It's the same people. Something is waking them up. What is that special sauce? That's what we're all trying to find, is that in the service of something, but it's that something, what is that? So I'd say in Europe, the big advantage for me there was, I was doing well here, doing nice projects here, maybe let's say it was 20 performances a year, 25 performances a year. My first year in Berlin, I had like 70 or 80 performances in Berlin alone, and so it becomes a part of your everyday life. That's a great thing, it's an important thing. Here, or I shouldn't say here and there, that's not fair. When you have a few things, everything is life and death. It's like, oh my God, this is like the one time conducting the next 3 months, I better, somebody, if they come and see me, Whereas there, it became like I would go drop my daughter to school in the morning, and then I would go to rehearsal. That already is a complete difference than when I would wake up in a hotel and go to rehearsal. All of a sudden it's, I gotta come back from a hard day rehearsal, pick her up from school, make some dinner, do this, and get back to a show. You don't have time to start thinking, what am I going to do? No, there's no time for that. And actually, it's much better that way. Because we can be,
Can you just say what context you originally went to Europe?
Yeah, so I'll try to tell you quickly a little bit of the story. So I was living in Montreal 10 years when I went to Saint Miguel. I stayed there 10 years. I was working, doing some choral stuff, doing some opera, assisting at the COC, stuff like that. And doing some symphonic stuff around North America. And then I decided we're too comfortable. And my wife is a singer. She also went to McGill. So we're just too, it's already, I'm going to get into this. What are we going to do? How do we break out of this? Like, first thing we have to do is get out of the city that we love, Montreal. We got to go somewhere. We got to get rid of this flat that we love. We got to go. And so we went to Toronto. We came back home I thought, okay, this is going to be a springboard. How am I going to find my way to Europe? That was my goal. Johannes Debus, the music director of the COC, had invited me to assist him in Bregenz Festival that summer, Tales of Hoffman. And that was and again, you just have to get there. So you just have to be there and be ready. Everything we're doing in our life as musicians is a preparation for the moment. You never know when the moment's coming, but trust me, everything you do is a preparation. That's why in school, learn some discipline, learn what it means to learn something well. Your standards will not get higher than they are now. If it's okay to kind of know the technique, you're not going to all of a sudden become a professional and start doing it. Trust me. The best way is the way you do anything is the way you do everything. That's really the maxim. And so, and what were we talking about? How do we go to Europe? And so it becomes a situation of, okay, now what are we going to do? I was in Bregenz, and the head of music staff from the Deutsche Oper Berlin, one of the really great opera houses in Berlin, was also on music staff with me. So I was the assistant conductor, and she was the head coach, Anne Champel, wonderful lady. And she noticed that, as again, we're always on the lookout, right? Everybody wants to find somebody great to bring to their theater. So she was kind of, and I didn't notice. She was kind of, and then so I said to her, she said, what do you want to do? Where did you come from? It's like, I came from Canada, what are you doing here today? I want to move to Europe. Okay, I'll keep my ear to the ground, you never know. Next morning she comes in, I just heard at the Komische Oper, they're looking for a pianist. I don't know what you'd be willing to do. Because to be a rep in a house, a pianist is one of the lower jobs. You work like a dog. You get paid, not poorly, you can live, but it's not easy. And you don't control your schedule at all. They tell you at like 2 p.m. what you're doing the next day. How do you plan your life? It's very difficult. And so, but I said to myself, I said to my wife, what do you think? Do we take this chance? If we don't do it now, we're never going to have the chance to do it. Because then she was, so anyways, I went to Berlin. I was assisting a show at the COC. They let me go for a day and a half or 2 days. I flew there, landed at like 9 a.m. or whatever it was off the airplane, put a suit on at the airport and drove straight to the opera house, walked in. I was the first one to audition. And so I went and warmed up for 10 minutes and then played this audition as a pianist. And I thought, okay, it's going okay. They say, are you interested? Who are you? What do you want to do? I said, I kind of want to conduct. They said, well, we haven't advertised this yet, but there's a job for Studienleiter. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't speak any German. I said, I thought it was like the guy who turns the lights on in the studio or something. And it's like, no, it's the head of music staff, I find out. Okay. So would you like to do the audition? You stay an extra 30 minutes, you have to conduct some stuff, and then when we audition them a month from now, we'll consider you then, and then we can call you after that and give you one of these 2 jobs. So I knew, okay, I'm going to have a chance to get to Berlin. At least they'll give me a pianist job. Great. And I was happy to do that. And so then they called me a month later and offered me the head of music staff job. I said, oh, great. And so we moved there. My wife is now 5 months pregnant with our first child, and I quit all my jobs, and we went to Europe. A bit mad. She's amazing and for some reason trusted me. And so we get there, and then it was about 2 weeks in, and I get a call from the Deutsche Oper. We're auditioning for Kapellmeister, which is a job I really wanted to have. It's basically staff conductor in an opera house. That's where you get to have 50, 60 performances a year fixed. You rehearse, you get time to develop, not just when you're gigging, it can be survival mode. I show up as a guest, I can't really, of course you have a big effect on what happens, but on a structural level, I'm not changing anything that's happening here. I make the best of what I have and I leave. When you're fixed somewhere, it matters what you do now can build to what you're doing in 6 months. Everything is part of, nurturing something bigger. And so I thought, okay, this could be great. So Deutsche Oper, would you want to be a candidate to audition? Of course. Come in 2 weeks and conduct this. Okay, great. Now I have to go to my boss. I've been working at the Komische Oper for 1 week, and I have to tell him, you mind if next week I got to go and do this audition? And then they said, okay, but we're also looking for a Kapellmeister. And you're going to do it. And I was going to conduct a performance of the Barber of Seville. But it was on December 26th. This is September. Okay. So I'll do both these auditions. Great. So I went to the Deutsche Oper, and I was lucky I won the audition there. And so he called me. Now they're offering me a job. And I say, guys, I can't wait 3 months for my audition at the Komische, because if I say no and then I don't get this one, I'm stuck. And he said, okay, just don't say anything, Deutsche, give me 2 days. And he called me back 2 hours later. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., you conduct the stage orchestra rehearsal of the Barber of Seville. The orchestra will vote after. And either on Saturday, come to my office at 10 a.m., either I'll offer you a job or I'll say, go on to the Deutsche Oper, it's good riddance kind of a thing. And so, long story short, it went well, I got on the orchestra well, they offered me that job. Now you have to decide. Deutsche Oper and Kuma, two different very things. The Deutsche Oper is a big opera. They play 43 operas a year, something like that. 43 titles. Repertoire house. You may never rehearse. Like they offered me Nabucco, Fledermaus, really great title, Traviata, do all kinds of things, but I never would be able to rehearse the orchestra. Very good orchestra, but it's always jumping in. At the Komische Oper, maybe they would pay me half the money, but I get to do a new production. I get to rehearse the orchestra. And, at the end, the boss says to me, listen, you make a difference in this house. We've been here 2-3 weeks. We feel it. You go over there, you might, but you're not going to be seen. And you're not. So I had this very difficult decision, 2 weeks to decide. I ended up choosing to stay at the Komische Oper. Great decision for me. It ended up being and actually I thought, if I go there, the Deutsche will never hire me, but c'est la vie. And it turned out that the Deutsche Oper was completely understanding, very warm, and I just debuted there in April. I did Bohème at the Deutsche Oper, and I'll go back to do Turandot after. It just ends up being, you cannot predict what these things are, but you stay respectful, you do the best you can do for the situation you have at all times, and people will not, it's a very, forgive me, people understand how difficult it is to make a life in this. It's not easy, that's the problem. When it's going great, it's its hardest. I was gone 10 months of the year. I have 2 young children. I was gone 10 months last year. That means things are going great and things are going terrible, right? I don't get paid to conduct. I get paid to be away from my family. I conduct for free. I do everything. They pay me, it's reparations for being away from my family. That's the reason. But it's a funny thing. So in Europe, you learn to make it a part of your everyday rhythm. You get the chance to do crazy things. I didn't have a taste for Rigi Theater. I'm sure this could be a theme we could talk about. I'm happy to. But before I went there, we never did very traditional things. That's what I was exposed to. Now, from outside, I can see how when you don't have any contact to the process, how you watch a production, thinking like, well, how did they get here? But when you're working on something with someone, now, is it my vision? Is it the way I would do it? No, but do we have a job together, the stage director and the conductor, to make something that really still serves this text, finds a place for this piece to live today? I've had to do productions that were completely against my taste. I've gotten out of productions when I'm like, I'm not going to do that one. But I learned my kind of parameters for what theater could be were blown open there, and I loved it. This ability to dig into text, to work. We have 8-week rehearsal periods for everything there, In America, you'd be lucky if it's 2 or 3 weeks, right? And it's just a different style. And now I feel it's equipped me to do what I want to do in a 2-3 week system. But I'm glad I went there to, so it was just a different, I would say it was a huge part of my education, yeah.
Can I just, in relation to that, I am also a conductor and you're very inspiring. Thank you so much and everything about your journey. How knowledgeable or how fluent did you have to be with German when you made the transition?
There's no hard, fast rules. It depends on how you are with languages. I don't know. I found language always pretty easy, but I didn't really speak any German when I got there. But there were some hard days. Like first day of meetings, I'm head of music staff. We're sitting there, and they're like talking. I'm like, and they look at me, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, that wasn't a yes or no question. But I had a notepad. I found it the other day, actually. My daughter found it going through some things. And I would sit there all day, and sometimes there was like 80 words. Any word I didn't understand, I wrote it down. I had a dictionary where it doesn't just tell you the meaning, it puts it in sentences. So I'm seeing, I watch Breaking Bad in German with subtitles. You do, anything you're doing is part of that. I love it. I love reading the paper. I love reading the news, listening auf Deutsch, digging into texts. If you really make it a part of your mission, because it's a huge advantage. Languages are crucial to what we do. And the best way to learn it is to go there. So if you know yourself, if you need a little intro before you get there to do it, do that. But the easiest way, you can't learn German when you're not speaking any German, and when it's not a necessity. If you talk to some person, every now and then, it's not. If you need to be there and be like, okay, I'm not going to be able to figure this out. I'm not going to figure out brochure. I'm not going to figure this out at going to get your visa papers. You're not going to figure any of that out if you're not, okay, I got to pull my socks up. So that was a good one, but it's a big part of it. Yeah, please.
So you've built this really wonderful career in Germany, obviously, but you've also managed to bridge it back to North America, which is, I think, a thing that a lot of singers, especially, are like, if I go over there, maybe I will never be able to leave, and nobody will want me to sing here. How did you manage to do that bridge so that your career doesn't have, it's not restricted just to Germany?
Yeah, again, there's no strict rules for how it works, but yeah, and I was fortunate that we had and I actually choose most of the time, but we turn down probably 80% of the things that come to us in North America, just because it's impractical, and I don't want to do too many opera periods away. So now this year, for example, I would normally do one in the States, maybe one in Canada, max per season. This year I'm doing 2 because Montreal Opera, the first place they ever hired me to conduct Don Giovanni. We all have I would do anything for them. And we found a date finally to do, so I'll do Traviata, and the COC, of course, is my home, is where I grew up. It's in a way, of all the things, even going to Glenbourne, to stand on the podium here in front of these musicians, in front of this chorus, with my nieces and nephews and friends sitting out there, means more than anything in the world. But often you have to go away to be. I doubt I would. I don't know if we can speak for. I don't know if this thing's still going. Would I be hired to conduct at the COC right now, Bohème, if I hadn't been doing this and other? Probably not. And is that something I accuse them of? Absolutely not. They have a mandate to put on an international, they want you to see people here that you will see at Covent Garden, at Glyndebourne, at La Scala. It's tricky, but there's, what it is also making sure from the beginning you stay true to yourself in all the offers that come up. It's flattering sometimes. They call you. When they called me the first time to conduct Rosenkavalier, I said no. And then my boss called me. He says, hey, my boss in Berlin, he's like, hey, they just called me from Garson and said you said no to Rosenkavalier. What are you doing? I said, why would I go? I'm going to wait for Rose. He said, hey, listen, that's in 2.5 years. You don't know who you give me in 2.5 years. He says, take a chance. It's good that you've been playing it. It's smart playing the longer, but now you've got to test yourself and see what's too much. And I'm glad I changed my mind, did that Rosenkavalier. It was a big step forward. And as a piece, I realized this is like my natural language. I adore this music. But you have sometimes very little control over it. And then some season you'll have all the control in the world. And you think, but there's no normal. That's the thing. And that was always that way. It's hard to control, but if you make sure every time you're ready to give the best version of yourself, sometimes you got to push yourself to, is this going to be too far? But you'll learn yourself what the boundaries are. I've had more than one time I'm walking to a first orchestra and thinking, okay, this is going to be interesting. Symphonie Fantastique for the first time with the BBC Symphony. This is going to be interesting. They've played it a million times. They recorded it with the greatest Russian conductors. And now I'm going to come out, what am I going to have? But that's when you trust. I always felt it's not me that goes out on the podium. I don't get any performance anxiety. I don't get nerves before, but it's not because I'm inhuman. It's not me that goes out there. I am the guy, the usual guy. I do all the preparation for that guy who goes out there. There's another version of me. He's like the warrior. He's afraid of nothing. My job is to sharpen his tools, make sure everything's set, make sure he's eaten enough, make sure he's had enough sleep. We send him to battle. The guy's fearless. But my job is to prepare him. I really feel in some weird way. That's the way it is, and that's why I stand there. It's crazy. I think to myself before something, how am I going to start? Like La Bohème, it's hard to start. It's a notorious passage for conductors. It's a nightmare. So when I walk out there somehow, and I still kind of like, here we go. And it just feels like, okay, because every time I'm sitting home studying, I treat it the same way. It's not a new place for me to go. It's a special place I nurture, and I know exactly how to get there. And that's the thing. Through your practicing, none of it is. And if you're feeling like it's a rough day, then walk away. Don't sit there and beat yourself over the head with it. It's not going to help. There's more things you can do. There's like hardware updates. You got to do that. Your technique. There's software updates. Learn how do you learn music? Have you ever looked at an orchestra score? If it's an aria you've sung 1,000,000 times, go put a recording on it. Don't look at the piano vocal score. Look at what the composer wrote. You don't need to read it even. You say, there's clarinets and it sounds like that. You'll get to read it your own way. Don't be scared. That's the thing. All of us, we stand there at the front, beginning of a forest, like, whoa, there's a lot of trees. Just walk in. Start taking a hike. You'll find something to love. It's like, I'm not going to read till I find the perfect book. Just read something. You're going to discover something. It's going to lead you somewhere. Just take it, Yes.
I'm always so interested to talk to folks who have amazing careers and also a family. Could you talk a little bit about how that works practically and functionally and balance?
It's tough. It's no question. And it takes also, I'm lucky my wife is amazing. She's a great partner. She also sings and works still. Like we have an au pair now for the first time in this vision. We realized last year, okay, this was sustainable. This was not. I did a Tristan last year in Seattle. I was talking to the intendant 2 weeks before saying, I'm not sure I can come. I'm not sure we can. I was 4 months in Glyndebourne, and before that, a month doing a new Hollander in Mannheim, and then right after that, I was going to Amsterdam for 7 weeks, and then to Tristan in Seattle. And that was all without going home for 1 day. And they came, of course. My daughter's traveled. She's been to Japan. She's been everywhere with us. But then it's at some point, at what cost is it to them? Because it's when you start gigging, you think, this is great, I'm on the road, I'm in a hotel. After a while, that's the last thing you want. And it's like, they have no friend, they have no community here, they don't have a place to play. Go ahead.
How does school work?
Yeah, now my daughter's 7 years old, she's just starting school. Now, they can't, in Germany, you can't take kids out of school. Once they're in school, you can. So that's why we put her in 1 year later into school, and we had flexibility. With kindergarten, you can travel around. So they did. But we started to realize this isn't the best thing for them. And so the answer is there's no good answer. It's tough. We hope that the benefit, that's why I try as much as I can when I'm away too, to give of my, when I'm here, that really it's worth it. It sucks to be, I would fly back. I would fly back if I had 18 hours. I would like 24 hours, I'd go. But it's like, you know what, wait a second. Why don't you try and invest and make it more than just playing nice concerts? Come here, try and connect with some people the way people did when I was a student as well, and make it worth it, you know, that they watch, and she comes to the opera, my girl, when I conducted in Berlin, she's sitting there, she's realized there's a lot of richness that comes for kids from a life in theater. They have a great community. There's people, since she was 3 months old, she was going to the Komische Oper, that entire orchestra knows her. They showed her, she was holding flutes and piccolos, she was on tour with us for Magic Flute through Japan. You know, she's had a lot of amazing experiences, but, you know, we're recalibrating. That's the thing. You only try to learn from what's working, what's not working, adjust when you have to, and you try to make the most of it. But it takes a very loving partner, somebody willing, it's sacrifice from all sides. It's not any easier to be the one away. I think it's tough, but maybe it's a little easier than having to deal with the kids by yourself. That's harder. But it's, there's no easy answer. But from the beginning, again, you nurture that first relationship with your partner, that's building always it's the same thing like a musical relationship. You know, the trust has to be built from being that when you're standing on stage and you look to me, you think, even if you're afraid and you look, I want you to think, okay, yeah, and that comes, if I start giving you hell in a rehearsal, you're going to look at me like, oh, this guy might get me. I don't want that when you're, so it's all kind of runs through the same philosophy.
This might be a bit of a vulnerable question, but can you pinpoint a moment in your education or in your career where you kind of felt like you fell on your face or you were having that imposter syndrome?
Oh, all the time. You often feel that.
Like how, what?
Just trust the work. Yeah, listen, the highs and lows. Never too high, never too low. You think you just stand like so. The difference between when you think you're amazing and when you think you suck is really not that big a difference, right? To us, it seems like, oh my gosh. To everybody else, they're like, oh, that was pretty good. That's kind of what you sound like, And it's trusting that. It's trusting that it happens, Yeah. A specific example, I don't know. When did I fall on my face? I don't know. See, that's the other thing. You learn to forgive yourself. You got to be like a goldfish. You don't have a long memory of that stuff. It's like, oh, that was too bad. Bang, next. The worst thing is somebody screws something up and then you screw up the next 6 phrases because you're beating yourself up about that one. You don't write and edit at the same time. When you're doing something, you do it, you think about it later. You don't stand there thinking, oh man, those are really bad upbeats because I'm going to give another 6 bad upbeats if I think that way. You got to forgive yourself, forget about it, go on.
We're talking about the European markets. I know we're very German-centric right now, but how would the other markets, like the French, Dutch, Italian markets differ? And if I'm starting as a singer, should I go to the other countries, or should I just stick with Germany and then broaden my horizon?
Yeah, listen, for everybody it's different. I would say there's great theaters in all those countries. Of course, funding on a basic level is much better in Germany than it is in France and Italy. They're fighting for it. It's great artistic organizations in the Netherlands, and Luxembourg in general, and then Finland, not to mention all the great music making that's happening in those Scandinavian countries. There's no right answer. Somebody's going to think the only way, like, I would never meant to land in Berlin. I was thinking I'm going to go to Augsburg, I'm going to go to some other theater. It just happened to be Berlin. It doesn't, it could have been just as easily in Austria, just as easily. It depends on where you find that, where you find you fit in, where you find out, okay, I jive with this kind of, the mission of what this place is. They got a great program at the Dutch National Opera. I loved going there. But it's very different than a German repertoire house. It's a stagione system where they do these productions. They're not running, whereas an ensemble, you learn a lot from the German theater system. But that's what I know. So that's why I've only known those other houses, those other countries as a guest. Yeah? But I would say it's all great. You find, if you can land on your feet somewhere there, it's always a good thing. And again, if it's the right thing for you, getting good projects that people are going to come and, that'll all happen. You just got to make sure that you're kind of ready to take that step, and any of them are great. Yeah. In the back.
I was just wondering with the idea of culture shock from relocating from North America to Europe. Is that musically in a sense, or you didn't just change your life?
It's true that. Yeah, great question. There's no question, and that the culture of music making is also different there and things. But to be honest, I was never. You say it's a good question. I never thought about it. I've always been, maybe it's like an immigrant mentality. My parents came here as immigrants. I'm always used to, I never went once, but I also never get homesick and things like that. Well, now that I have kids, I do. But it's less about home. It's more like if they were here, I wouldn't be homesick. But it's, you do have to, but again, it's that, another maxim which is good for conductor, for all of us. Listen and shut your mouth. Just listen and see how much you can. When we go in there trying to assert our, this is me, just sit back and say, okay, interesting, it could be done that way. No matter what, your wheels are turning there. It's this amazing ability from there to, I love the idea of when every country has a different musical culture. It's true, their style of working, their sense of humor. I didn't know that. When I went to UK, right away I'm like, wow, these guys, not only are they like laughing at my jokes, but we just get on, In Germany, not that they don't have a sense of humor in Germany, but it's different. They have a different serious mentality when they come in. Or the speed of orchestras, like in America and in the UK. They're unbelievably fast. These guys on the first rehearsal, it's like, whoa, that's already pretty good. We could almost go on stage like that. Germany, we have a bit more rehearsal time. You hear it. They come in and it sounds like, so what are we playing this morning? That's what it sounds like, but they know how to ride that thing up to the performance. Because a rehearsal isn't a performance. I don't want in my rehearsal to be getting it. No. I'm setting out the parameters. I make sure they know where to listen, what's important to me. That's how we're going to phrase. But I want that performance is a performance. There's no audience. You can't recreate that feeling without an audience. And that's a thing of the culture of music making in Germany. I learned a lot, how you pace that, and make sure that the performance is when you get to your best, not the dress rehearsal. It was a thing for me for a while. I thought, dang, that was a fantastic thing. But somehow, how do you keep that interest? How do you keep them on the edge of their seats? But as far as, like the paperwork, all that stuff is brutal. It's not easy dealing with visas, doing all of that kind of stuff. But it's part of it. It humbles you. That's a good thing. Music, a life in music is humbling, as it should be. You get humbled as a singer standing in front of as a conductor standing in front of as an orchestra member, sitting there in front of colleagues. Imagine if you had to be the solo oboe playing La Bohème the first time. You never played. You're just counting the measures is so difficult. There's so many traditions. Make a space. But the best is you see in orchestras, the second oboist is experience. You see the way they count them in. You see the camaraderie there. We hold each other up. I love that in music making. There's an exchange of generations always. And we can learn a lot through that,
Okay, James, I think you had a question? Yeah. Okay, that'll have to be the last one then.
James.
So, with regards to that culture shock, I've heard that it's very difficult for North Americans to break into the fest system, particularly in Germany and Austria, less so in Switzerland. But what is needed for a Canadian to be able to bridge that gap and get work in the fest?
Yeah, it's fun. I never thought it's tricky. You guys are going to get so much advice too. Like everybody knows that. It's hard to say what's true. What's true to somebody is not true to somebody else. The experience 10 years ago is completely different than it is now. I don't think think about how many Canadians are doing well over there right now. Every single week I hear from some other Canadian who's coming over, and then I think like in Frankfurt, Ian McNeil, is Ian here? No, was Ian one of them? Amber, Gord Bittner, Anne Larley, like all of them are just in one house.
In
Berlin. Just in Frankfurt, exactly. And this idea that, there's no gatekeeping, there's nothing like that. Listen, a lot of it is just pure luck and timing. Like they're looking for something, you walk in. But again, the best thing you can do is I think it's the work we were doing today. You chisel away at yourself. We don't work on music, right? Music works on us. You're not going to the practice room to make Mozart better. He's perfect, right? Mozart's working on you. And we're getting a little, I didn't realize that. But it's like looking in a mirror. Like, okay, you got to be humble. You got to take that with that. That's the stuff. You stand up there. Like, listen, Deutsche Oper has so many singers coming out of American Young Artist programs right now. Every season has been 2 of them at least coming and singing leading roles. I don't think it's any easier in Switzerland than it is in Deutschland. It's hard everywhere. That's true. Timing is part of it. If at that moment, again, make contacts as best you can. You got your ear to the ground. You hear from people there. It's the best thing you can do is make sure that when you walk, from the moment you walk out the door, they say that about conductors. An orchestra can decide by the way you walk to the podium before you've even before you said a word, whether or not what you're going to be like. And it's true. Those guys were all on their computers. I'm sitting. I want to see how do they walk in the room. How do they introduce themselves? Is this somebody not just whose voice I believe in? Is this somebody I can see us making something great and special together. I always in auditions work with somebody. I don't just let them sing and walk away. I say, okay, try it like this. How about if she, just give a different scenario. How do you respond to that? So I would say be playful when you're working on your stuff. Don't, this is my thing, I'm going to that's part of it. Then you got to do the other work on it, which is okay. I'm going to try this today. Today he's going to be this way. Tomorrow I'm going to try that one. And just be open, because that's the thing. They do a thing in Germany called Arbeitsprobe. So you pass an audition, and maybe they're thinking about you for a role, so we invite you, and you're going to work with the director and the conductor and the pianist in the room. So we ask you to prepare a scene. So when I did Hollander, for example, I got somebody to prepare Die Frist ist Ulm, and they came in, and you say, okay, nice, now, how do we work? It's the chemistry. It's that ability of, and that light behind somebody's eyes, you see it, and it's, okay, even if I don't have a position, I got to make something work. This person's going to, that's always the, the kind of energy that you want to be thinking about trying to engender. Yeah?
Awesome.
Great. Thank you all very much. Nice to see you all. Great.